Good day, my scholars. Welcome to my school channel. My name is Alexandra. So in this video, you'll be joining me to solve the JAMB CBT past question for the subject Literature Year 2013. Please stay with us, do not go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to my school channel. So right now you'll be joining me to solve question 1 to 20. Now let's begin with question 1. A device used by a writer to recall past events in a literary work is option A, flashback, option B, foreshadowing, option C, interlude, option D, anticlimax. The answer to this question is option A, flashback. Now, flashback is a literary device that is used to give an account of past events. So this event happened before the story's primary sequence of events. So when we think of flashback, we think of a scene that takes the narrative back in time from the current point in the story. So option A is the correct answer to this question. However, foreshadowing is also a literary device, and when foreshadow happens, that is, a writer gives an hint. Okay, it gives an advance hint or a hint about something that is supposed to happen, or an event that is to come in the story. So when we look at interlude, interlude is a short period of time when an activity stops and something else begins. Okay, when we talk about anticlimax, this is against climax. Okay, so we know that climax is that very interesting part of a story. So when we talk about anticlimax, we are looking at a disappointing turn of events. So you are expecting a particular scene to happen after tension has been built in anticipation for a particular event, but then you see something else or something different or something opposite from what you think should happen. So that's anticlimax. So the answer to this question is option A, flashback. Question 2. A paragraph in prose is equivalent to a, option A, stanza in poetry, option B, meter in poetry, option C, trope in poetry, option D, verse in poetry. Now the answer to this question is option A, stanza in poetry. Now, when we look at paragraph, or when we talk about paragraph in prose, it's usually identified with spacing, and we know it's a group of words, okay? So when we look at stanza in poetry, stanza is used to describe the grouping of words or the division of words in poetic composition. So traditionally, it is referred to as stanza. When we talk about the grouping of words or the division of words, it is stanza. But nowadays, people use verse and stanza interchangeably. Now, verse should be restricted to a single metrical line in poetic composition. So when we are talking about verse, we are looking at a metrical reading or rhyme. Okay, so option A is the correct answer to this question. Question 3. A fable is a brief narrative illustrating wisdom and dash. Option A, custom, option B, truth, option C, urgency, option D, origin. The answer to this question is custom. Now, first and foremost, a fable is a narrative. Okay, it's a narrative and it features legendary creatures, it features plants, it features natural forces, it features animals, and all of these behave or act like human beings. Okay, now one thing you should know about a fable is that a fable is a form of folk literature. And when we talk about folk literature, we talk about oral literature. And oral literature is simply traditional knowledge and belief. Now this is customary in nature. We're talking about the custom of the people, the value, the belief, and all of that. So option A is the correct answer to this question. Question 4. A device used in poetry to achieve emphasis or stress a point is known as option A, assonance, option B, repetition, option C, alliteration, option D, rhyme. The answer to this question is repetition. Repetition simply means repeating something. So in poetry or in literature, when we talk about repetition, you're repeating a word or a phrase, and it is used to create emphasis or to stress a particular point. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Question 5. A literary work that ridicules the shortcomings of people or ideas is dash. Option A, an irony, option B, a fable, option C, a mask, option D, a satire. The answer to this question is satire. So when we look at satire, satire is the use of humor, irony itself, exaggeration to expose or criticize people's stupidity or people's wickedness or immoral act, especially people in politics or other social issues. So option D is the correct answer to this question. However, when we talk about irony, irony is saying the opposite of what you mean. A fable is a narrative form that uses animals when the animals act or behave like human beings. And a mask is a festival entertainment. It's a festive entertainment. It's usually dramatic in nature, where people get to wear a mask, and it's usually marked as a festival entertainment. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Before we proceed to number 6, do not forget that you can take practice questions with our simulated JAMB CBT past questions. How do you go about this? All you need to do is you click on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website. There you can download Myschool mobile app for your Android phones and Myschool software for your computers and laptops. Please go ahead and download and start practicing. Now moving on to question 6. The figure of speech in which the writer means the exact opposite of what he intends to say is dash. Option A, paradox. Option B, metaphor. Option C, satire. Option D, irony. The answer to this question is irony. Irony is saying the opposite of what you mean. So option D is the correct answer to this question. I believe you are enjoying this content. Please do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos. Question 7. Action without speech in a play is option A, epilogue. Option B, mime. Option C, soliloquy. Option D, aside. The answer to this question is mime. Now, mime is a technique, a theatrical technique that suggests action, characters, or emotion without using words. So what is used is gesture, movement, expressions. Okay, so words are not used. So when we talk about epilogue, epilogue is that section or a speech at the end of a text. When we look at soliloquy, soliloquy is simply speaking to oneself. Aside is speaking to the audience. Okay, so the answer to this question is option B, mime. Question 8. A literary work that teaches moral is said to be option A, instructive. Option B, corrective. Option C, impressive. Option D, didactic. The answer to this question is option D. So in literature, didactic means or is intended to teach a moral lesson. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 9. A mistake committed by the hero which leads to his downfall is known as dash. Option A, climax. Option B, tragic flaw. Option C, comic relief. Option D, test. The answer to this question is tragic flaw. Now, when we talk about tragic flaw, we mean the flaws or the defects or the imperfection identified with a character, usually the protagonist or the tragic hero, which leads to his downfall. Now, a very good example I can give is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe with the character Okonkwo. Now, we know that Okonkwo fears failure. One of his weaknesses is the fact that he fears failure, and he became so hardworking so that he could be the best of himself. And we see that his life was ruled with the fear of being called a failure or being called a weak person. And because of that, he didn't want to be identified as a weak person or a failure. He killed himself. So the answer to this question is option B, tragic flaw. Question 10. The speech made by a character to himself on stage is dash. Option A, aside. Option B, soliloquy. Option C, monologue. Option D, epilogue. The answer to this question is soliloquy. Now, soliloquy is a literary device whereby a character speaks to himself. This is usually characterized by the character's thoughts. The character's thought is spoken out loud. Okay, and when we talk about monologue is a long speech by an actor. Usually the actor is alone on stage and he expresses himself or dramatizes. So it's usually a long speech by an actor. When we look at aside addresses the audience. So he's among other characters on stage, but he says something so that only the audience can hear him. So other characters will not hear him. So when we talk about epilogue, epilogue is that speech at the end of a text. So the answer to this question is option B, soliloquy. Question 11. Women as a clam on the sea's crescent, I saw your jealous eyes quench the sea's fluorescence, dance on the pulse incessant. Wale Soyinka's Nights. The line above suggests that women are option A, dogmatic. Option B, seers. Option C, magicians. Option D, covetous. The answer to this question is option D, covetous. Now, what does covetous mean? Covetous is to desire something that belongs to someone else. Let's look at dogmatic. Dogmatic is someone that is opinionated. Seer is someone that has supernatural powers to see things that ordinary people cannot see, to see visions and all of that. It's also quite similar to magicians, people with supernatural powers to do things that ordinary people cannot do. Okay, so the answer is covetous simply because of line 1 and 2. Now let's take a look at line 2. I saw your jealous eyes quench the sea's fluorescence. Now I saw your jealous eyes. We're talking about women in this context. Their jealous eyes quenching, that is killing the sea's fluorescence. Okay, when you kill the sea's fluorescence here means an emission of light, so it's something positive, but the jealous eyes of a woman quenches it or kills it. Now, women as a clam. Now, a clam is a sea creature, with 2 shells, and it has a burrowing feet used in digging the sand, so they stay right inside the sand or quite above the sand. And this animal, this sea creature, feeds on leftovers of other sea creatures like snails, fish. Okay, so they feed on their leftovers, and they also feed on organisms. They feed on wastes from these other sea creatures. Okay, so this is a powerful way to describe someone that is covetous. Eating someone's leftover, feeding on their wastes and scraps. Okay, so option D is the correct answer to this question. The lines above suggest that women are covetous. Question 12. Busy old fool, unruly son, why dost thou toss through windows and through curtains call on us? The exact above suggests option A, welcoming the sun, option B, indictment of the sun, C, praise of the nature, D, invitation to the sun. The answer to this question is option B, indictment of the sun. Now, indictment is simply a charge, an allegation or accusation against something. Now, look at the poem, busy old fool, unruly son, why dost thou toss through the windows? Now, the poet's persona has something against the sun. It feels that it is disorderly, is disruptive, and all of that, and it calls it busy old fool. So it has something against it, and this is an indictment of the sun. Option B, therefore, is the correct answer to this question. Question 13. The figure of speech involved in the lines above is option A, epigram, option B, pun, option C, simile, option D, personification. The answer to this question is option D, personification. Personification is when a thing is represented as a person or a living thing. Okay, so now let's go back to the poem Busy Old Fool. We can see that the sun is personified in this context. We see busy old fool. Okay, so people or animals will be termed busy or old. Okay, unruly sun, why dost thou toss through the window? Why do you penetrate through the window? So these are attributes that originally will be given to human beings. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Question 14. Will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow for old, unhappy, far-off things and battles long ago, or is it some more humbly familiar matters of today? The lines above shows that the persona, option A, so hates the words of the girl, B, understands the girl's song, option C, does not understand the girl's language, option D, is so much in love with the girl. The answer to this question is option C, does not understand the girl's language. Now, when you read this poem, you realize that in line 1, the poet persona is inquisitive. He wants to know something. And what follows is his interpretation of what he heard. Okay, so we have, will no one tell me what she sings? Perhaps, maybe this or this. Okay, so the poet is inquisitive, and so he does not understand the girl's language. So what he has is just his own a probability of what she must have said. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Question 15. The lines above end in a literary device known as dash. Option A, irony, option B, conceit, option C, transferred epithet, option D, rhetorical question. The answer to this question is rhetorical question. Rhetorical question is a literary device in which the questionnaire does not require a direct answer. So So you can see that it's in form of a question, but then it shows that it's a rhetorical question because the poet's persona does not require a direct answer. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Are there questions you would like to ask? Please feel free to ask your questions by using the link provided in the description below. Please click on this link. It takes you to the Myschool website. There you can ask as many questions as possible and solutions will be provided to you within a short period of time. Now moving on to question 16. Oh, incomprehensible God, shall my pilot be, my inborn stars to that final call to thee. The literary device used in the first line is option A, burlesque, option B, rhetoric, option C, passion, option D, apostrophe. The answer to this question is option D, apostrophe. Oh, incomprehensible God. Now, apostrophe is a literary device that is used when a speech is used to address to a person or to a subject that is not present in the literary work. So God is not present in this work, and so this is an apostrophe. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Do you have better solutions or steps to any of this question? Please feel free to use the comment section below. Indicate the question and the solutions you would like to share. Question 17. Busy old fool, unruly son, why dost thou thus? From the lines above, the poet sees the sun as option A, illumination after darkness, option B, an unnecessary evil, option C, a necessary evil, option D, a light provider. The answer to this question is option B, an unnecessary evil. Busy old fool, unruly son. Now this is intended to the sun. The son is tagged as busy old fool, unruly son, disruptive son, disorderly son. So this is something that is not necessary. The poet's persona considered the son as something that is not necessary and is just disruptive and disorderly in nature. So this is an unnecessary evil. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Question 18. The body perishes, the heart stays young, the platter wears away with serving food, no log retains its bark when old, no lover is peaceful while the rival weeps. The theme of the poem above is option A, non-peaceful nature of love, B, diminishing nature of love, C, permanence of love, D, decaying nature of wood. Now the answer to this question is option A, non-peaceful nature of love. Now this poem talks about love, but then love is generally the representation of life. Love can be physical, it can be emotional also. But in this context, love is a representation of life, showing instability. Now let's take a look at the poem again. The body perishes, the heart stays young. This is not stable. This is not harmonious. The body perishes, but then the heart stays young. It is conflicting, okay, in nature. Then the platter wears away with serving food. Platter here symbolizes a serving plate. It's a plate, okay. So the more you use a plate, the more it wears away. No log retains its bark when old. No log here, it represents the tree. So when the tree is old, it will definitely fall off. So this is the conflicting nature of love. So option A is the correct answer to this question, non-peaceful nature of love. Question 19. From the poem above, no lover is peaceful while the rival weeps, means that option A, the pain of one lover is felt by the other, option B, there is no permanent love, option C, there is true and permanent love, option D, the two lovers weep together. The answer to this question is option A. Option A is the best answer to this question. The pain of one lover is felt by the other. Now, no lover is peaceful while the rival in this context means equal match, which is the other person involved. Okay, so no lover is peaceful while the rival weeps. So the pain of one is felt by the other. The happiness of one is also felt by the other. So option A is the correct answer to this question. Question 20. Will college make you a better Olokun priest? Will it make you serve our ancestors better? Look at me, an able-bodied, strong-hearted priest of Olokun. Did I go to college? Now, the literary device used in the passage above is option A, onomatopoeia, option B, metaphor, option C, simile, option D, parallelism. The answer to this question is parallelism. Parallelism is a repetition of grammatical elements in writing or in speech. Now, which element has been repeated? We can see the first and the second. This is a question, this is also a question, and it's the same structure. Will, college make you a better Olokun priest? Will it make you serve our ancestors better? So we can see the same structure, same grammatical structure repeated in line 1 and line 2. So option D is the correct answer to this question. We've come to the end of this wonderful segment and I believe you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us. Do not forget to hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and lastly tap on the bell notification to get informed as soon as we release the next videos.